We have a pair of 1985 UNC ones in a super hard to find size of 13. So to find a size 13 in a UNC, it's almost unheard of. To find that out of Japan, forget about it. These are in super solid condition. The padding is still soft. They've got plenty of life left on the tread. The soles are perfect. They don't have any hardening whatsoever. Guys, this is gonna be the next restoration video, and I promise you, these are gonna look insane. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're finally gonna restore the 1985 Air Jordan UNCs, and I can't wait to do these. These structurally are in really good shape, but cosmetically, they've got some flaws. Take a look at what I'm talking about. Guys, these may look good from a distance, but up close, they're kind of a mess. We've got our work cut out for us today, and here's what I mean. If we take a look at the toe box, for instance, this creasing is deep. Very, very deep. I'm not so sure it's even going to come out. As we move backwards from the 4-foot stabilizer, it doesn't get much better. As you can see, the blue panels, they're just kind of a mess. If we take a look at the heel in general, not only is it scuffed, but we've got some staining, we've got some white paint on there. It's just not looking very promising, but we're going to do our best to get around it. This is what happens if you kick your shoes off at the end of the night too. See how the paint's missing? We're going to have to repaint all of that. But all in all, we have a size 12.5 or 13, ultra rare 1985 UNC. Whatever we do, it's going to be worth it, and I can't wait to see the way these things turn out. So we've got our work cut out for us, but it's nothing we can't handle. We're going to do these in episodes again. For those of you that are new, this is Vintage Kicks Gallery. All right, some of you may recognize these. These are the ones that we actually have already cleaned the interior on. So if you haven't seen our interior cleaning video, go back and watch it. So I'm gonna get started right away by just cleaning the outside. They're already pretty clean, but as you saw before, they've got some issues. To start just with a little hand scrubbing. I'm not gonna touch the tongue because we already cleaned that, but I do wanna remove all of the surface gunk and 36 years of whatever's on these things. So we're going to start off with our hand brush and then move on to the powerful rotary. All right, now that we've got the suds going, I'm going to switch over to the rotary and really go at this thing. All right, as usual, I'm making a mess, but we're gonna switch over to our magic eraser, and this is what I'm gonna use for the soles. Now, we are gonna deoxidize the soles, but I wanna get them as clean as possible before we go that route. That way, they're gonna go really consistent and they'll lighten up a little bit. All right, I made a complete mess, so it's time to clean this up, and then we're gonna get our shoe stretch and the heat gun, and while these things are wet, we're gonna actually tackle the creases on the toe box. And guys, I'm not too confident in my abilities on these. The creases are just super deep, and I'm not so sure they're gonna come out all the way, but we're at least gonna give it a try. All right, a couple things you might have noticed. One is this big shoe stretcher I have in here, and that's all to get rid of these creases. I wanted to bring back the shape.
Unfortunately, an adjustable shoe tree just wasn't big enough for these. They're size 13. So we're gonna use this shoe stretcher that's in here with some liquid shoe stretch, and we're gonna soak this toe box, then use the heat gun to the best of our ability, not burn this leather, but to take out the creases. So you guys have seen this done before, but all we're gonna do is just soak it. We don't need to be as thorough with it this time because they are wet. So once that gets set, give that a second to soak in, and then let's hit it with some heat. Just gonna let the heat gun warm up here, so make sure it's super hot. Then we'll start with the side, and hopefully these guys will go away, but like I said, we'll see. So you guys have all seen this done before, as I said, but here's what you really need to know about doing this. Number one, use that shoe stretch to your advantage. Make it do the work for you. What I mean by that is go ahead and soak this area really well. The next thing to keep in mind is to pack that toe box. The tighter you can make that toe box, the more you can put it in filling, the better off you're going to be. Now, I have a shoe stretcher in there, but if I was going to put some fabric towels or anything like that, I would make sure they were wet. The reason being, this heat generated, it's so extreme that you can actually burn what's inside. Believe me, I've done it. The other thing is, keep that heat moving, going back and forth. Just take about 1 square inch at a time. So find your wrinkles, find your creases, do one by one, keep going, and don't stop until you see a really uniform surface. Now, what can kind of trick you is in situations like this, you'll notice that the toe box, the creases are actually pretty dirty. So when something creases, it loses the paint, etc. You still see a crease even though the crease is gone. Don't worry about that. Once you paint it, it'll be good to go and it'll look perfect. Well guys, I know you can still see them, but I think once the paint goes on there, because we are going to repaint this toe box, you're actually not going to be able to see these creases. So I'm really impressed they came out. Those were some deep creases, but hey, I think we did it. I was a little worried getting into this because the creasing was just so bad. Generally when the fibers of the leather break like that, there's just no really fixing it. But take a look at this, how smooth and uniform it is. I mean, you can see here, you've got peaks, you've got valleys, and then afterwards, it's just nice, smooth, and I think once that paint goes on there, we're gonna be good. Now that those creases are gone, we can move on to the next step. So what we're gonna do now is throw this on the drying rack, give it some ample time to dry, then we're gonna prep it with some acetone and get to painting, because this pair needs some paint. You know we don't like to paint unless we have to, but unfortunately, I don't think there's one clean panel on this. We're gonna be touching up and painting a lot of this white. We're going to be touching up a lot of the blue, and well, guys, wish me luck. I'll see you next time.